Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Klinger Cares, where we celebrate the people and programs make a real difference in our community. Today, we're shining a spotlight on a Warrior Canine Connection, an amazing organization that empowers veterans through the healing powers of dogs. And we're excited to dive into their inspiring missions, the lives they touch, and how each one of us can lend a helping hand. So I am your host. My name is Coco, and today we have some very special guests. So stay tuned. It's going to be another fantastic episode. Joining us today, Mr. Rick Yount, the Executive Director of Warrior Canine Connection, and Miss Jennifer Wilder, the Director in Development and Communication. Hey, Rick. Hey, Jennifer. How are you today?
Doing well,
Morning,
Coco.
great.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for attending this exclusive interview to know more about your organization. So let's start with your mission. Warrior Canine Connection empowers veterans through the healing powers of dog. What inspired the creation of this program, and how have you seen it change life at first hand?
Inspiration of where this all started, my friend.
Yeah, I'll try to be. I guess this started, my background as a social worker, and discovered the healing power of dogs several decades ago in my work as a social worker. And I kind of had this idea, since there was a shortfall of service dogs available for veterans waiting 2 years plus to get a well-trained service dog, and that continues to be the case, unfortunately, that I thought that it would be advantageous to involve veterans in helping to solve that problem, to have veterans learn how to help train service dogs for their brothers and sisters in arms. And my idea was to use the training process and what could be learned from developing and learning those skills as a therapeutic kind of intervention for post-traumatic stress in service members who had combat-related PTSD.
Wow, that's powerful. Now, could you share a memorable story of one of your veterans whose life was transformed by partnering with one of your service dogs?
Only
Yeah,
one, though, Rick. There's a million you have, but yeah.
yeah, you know what's going through my head, Jen. Yeah, it is. There's some just amazing stories, but I'll share one of the very early on experiences that resulted in federal legislation being signed by the president eventually. And this, when I first started, there were 3 Marines who were hospitalized in this VA inpatient program in Menlo Park, California. One of those Marines happened to be a drill instructor who, again, was hospitalized because of the severity of his symptoms. And of course, my job was to teach him how to help train this young golden retriever to become a service dog for a fellow vet. And I explained to him the process, the communication skills that you have to learn to effectively train these dogs, the patience that you have to practice to train these dogs. And I explained to him that to praise the dog, he would have to use a very high-pitched, emotive, I refer to it as the Richard Simmons tone. And of course, a Marine drill instructor who was hospitalized for, his PTSD symptoms, emotional numbing, avoidance, isolation, et cetera, depression. That was a tall order. But after coaching him and trial and error, he actually started to develop that skill of using this high-pitched, this ridiculously high-pitched voice. And of course, the fake it till you make it phenomenon is at play here. And then the patience, because these dogs are very laid back. You have to learn to say things a little slower and wait a bit of time before you can expect a response. And that's very difficult, especially if you're a Marine drill instructor. But he developed these skills to train the dog and was doing very well. And when asked how that was impacting his recovery, he shared, and this is verbatim, he said that it had saved his marriage. He said his wife had filed papers because of how he was interacting with a 3-year-old son at home. He was being too harsh, impatient, a drill instructor, and that was kind of destroying his marriage and his relationship with his family. But what he learned through the process of training the dogs, he took home, and as he said, it taught him how to connect with his son on a 3-year-old level. And that's what inspired eventually would become the Pause for Veterans Therapy Act. It was signed years later, but yeah, that's one example of how learning to train these dogs and being involved in what we call mission-based trauma recovery is what we call this program. It's super effective at meeting veterans where they are, even if they're in a hospital, giving them the responsibility and that mission, that continued sense of mission to take care of their own, which is a very deeply held warrior ethos core value. And so we tap into that. And it's been labeled as the Trojan Dog Program because it is not presented as a therapy to these veterans. It's presented as a opportunity to engage in a no-fail mission, take care of your brothers and sisters.
So, Coco, one thing I'd love to just
Sure.
add on about the brilliance of that model. I mean, literally, Rick was the first person in the country to utilize the training of service dogs as a therapeutic intervention for PTSD with veterans. And, in a typical service dog program model, you work on training a dog for 2 years, and with hopes that dog has the temperament and the behavior to be able to successfully, pursue that mission. And in doing so, you change the life of one veteran, which is wonderful and important. But because of how Rick designed Warrior Canine Connections model, by the time we get ready to have a service dog graduate or pursue, another career, they typically have been part of that recovery process of dozens of veterans. So we've placed 185 assistance dogs, and we're very, very proud of that. But through that process of getting those dogs ready, we have impacted the recovery of more than 12,000 wounded veterans. And that is a game changer. When we consider the number of veterans coming back with these invisible wounds of war, it's not solvable one dog at a time. It's simply not. There are veterans who need solutions now, and we are able to engage them throughout the entire training process with every pup in our program. And so, I mean, as a military spouse myself, who spent 25 years following an active duty service member around the world, I mean, I've seen this firsthand in friends and our family, and being able to engage those veterans in a mission where it's not about them, but about helping their brothers and sisters in arms, and it just is a wonderful outcome that in the process they themselves find healing. As Rick was talking about, we have been operating as part of the medical treatment program at VA and Department of Defense hospitals for 14 years.
Wow.
So it's very exciting that we're seeing the science behind why that works. But it really was a brilliant program model that is allowing us to help so many more veterans than just those receiving service dogs. That's a cherry on top.
That's a wonderful story, Jennifer and Rick, because as I see, as you mentioned a while ago, Rick, you have this veteran and you change it, not only the business one or the veterans itself or the profession, but also the personal lives of this veteran. That's wonderful. So, in connection to that, Rick and Jennifer, let's dive into the training and dedication of your organization because raising and training a service dog takes times, patience, and love. So, what does the process look like, and how the volunteer plays a role in your success?
Yeah. And the dogs are such a key variable to our mission. So because of that, we developed a very robust and well thought out breeding program. So it starts even before the puppies are born, and really planning create the best genetics for these types of dogs for this type of work, meaning healthy dogs, and then dogs with longevity, and dogs that are have the temperament that is best suited for service dogs. We need dogs that are very patient themselves and very loving and caring. To have that amiable personality, ideally. So once the pups are born, we have our staff and volunteers that just nurture them and create love and trust with humans. They live a very charmed life, and you can see that, witness that if you go to our website and look at our live puppy cam. You can tune in and watch these puppies really from day one and watch them develop in the environment they're in. And then about 8 weeks of age, we have these angelic volunteers called puppy raisers that go through training, and then we'll take these puppies into their homes, teach the puppies all the rules of the home, the house manners, and then methodically work with our trainers and help socialize these puppies to the outside world and participate in that aspect of their training and socialization. And that's about a year and a half of, like you said, putting your love and your patience into this puppy. And then what makes them the true angels they are is they willingly give them back in about a year and a half so that the dogs can go into advanced training and evaluation. And during this time also, they're making the dogs available to participate in our MBTR program so that these veterans that we've mentioned can have access and help train them.
So each year we have about 850 volunteers from around the country who help us in meeting this mission. Literally last year, these volunteers gave 140,000 hours of service. It is, it definitely is an example of it takes a village. We have, incredibly skilled trainers, a wonderful stock of dogs that we work with, but we could not make it happen without these volunteers and the others out in the community and around the country who generously give resources to fund and fuel that mission. All of these dogs are provided free to the veterans we serve. It costs us about $35,000. And Klinger is an amazing example of those community organizations and wonderful corporations and individuals who give those important resources to make this mission possible.
So speaking of that, Jennifer and Rick, the community involvement, because our company, which is Klinger Insurance Group, believes in giving back to our community through our Klinger Cares Program. So how can a local businesses or neighbors or our community itself can actively support your incredible work?
Yeah. Do you want me to start, Rick?
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Sure. So as mentioned, 850 people every single year raise their hand to help us in this work. Most of our volunteer opportunities, the first step to kind of get involved and see what opportunities are out there would start on our website, warriorcanineconnection.org. There's a tab at the top of how to get involved. And some people get involved as whelping watchers for our youngest pups right after they're born. Other people, as Rick was talking about, volunteer to be puppy raisers. Others are puppy sitters who give a break to those puppy raisers when they're going on vacation or something like that. And then other folks just come out and do volunteer days of service. And that's where we see a lot of our corporate friends get involved. There's information about those kind of group volunteer activities on our website as well. Some companies have come out and done just some facilities maintenance, helped us repair fences, painting, some light landscaping work. You really don't have to have a specific skill set. Our staff works alongside those volunteers during their day of service project, but we couldn't make it happen. We've got 80 just on our central campus where all of the breeding happens. We have 80 acres, and we have 2 facility staff. Again, a great example of how we need to have those community volunteers and those corporate volunteer groups to help make that mission happen. So the first step would be go to warriorcanineconnection.org and take a look at some of those various ways, either to volunteer individually or as a group. Rick, do you have anything to add to that?
No, well said. Well said.
Okay, so to wrap up this interview, Rick and Jennifer, to our viewers right now who are watching, do you have any message that you'd like to share directly with them?
Rick, you get to go first.
Yeah, okay. No, my message to those who might be watching this is if you care and want to looking for an opportunity to help veterans, and you appreciate the love and connection with animals, dogs especially, please consider getting involved in any way that you can. Whether it's time, treasure, talent. Please check out our website, learn more about Warrior Canine Connection's mission. And it really does take a village to do this. As Jennifer said, our veterans, we don't charge for these services of any kind. They've paid an incredible price through their sacrifice and their service. So I think the 99+% that have not worn the uniform, we need to do all we can to show our gratitude, and there's a lot of work to do. So please consider getting involved and check out warriorcanineconnection.org.
And I would just add to that, as Rick said, we absolutely can't make this mission happen without thousands of companies and individuals who share time, talent, and treasure, critical resources as well as critical volunteer time. There are hundreds of thousands of veterans just since 9/11 who have come back with these kind of brain injuries, with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries, and they have done their duty for our country. And it's our turn to stand up and help provide the tools and the resources that they need to heal. And I hope you will join us. We sure need your help.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this valuable insight about your organization, because your dedication to empowering the veterans through the service dog is truly inspiring, Rick and Jennifer. So to our viewers right now, remember that you can be part of this mission, volunteer, donate, and spread the word about Warrior Canine Connection. Visit their website and follow them on their social media platforms to get involved and to learn more about their organization. So this has been Klinger Cares, where the community and compassion come together. And I am your host, Kyoko. See you on the next episode. And thank you for watching. Together, we can make a difference. And let's keep shining and giving. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer and Rick, for this exclusive interview. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to join you, and such a pleasure to be able to partner with Klinger Insurance Group.